Borderlands 4 will be better than Borderlands 2. Yes guys, I believe Borderlands 4 will be better than Borderlands 2. And there's a couple reasons why I believe that, and I'll be sharing that in today's video. What's up guys, back with another Borderlands video, and today I'll be talking about why Borderlands 4 will be, or maybe I should say surpass Borderlands 2. If you do enjoy the video, don't forget to leave a like and subscribe, and thank you for watching the video the whole way through. So, reason number one I believe Borderlands 4 will be better than Borderlands 2 or surpass Borderlands 2 is in terms of the story. Don't get me wrong, the story in Borderlands 2 was peak, and to this day is still the best written story out of all the Borderlands games. But I believe Borderlands 4 can surpass this and come out on top with having a better story than Borderlands 2. The reason I say this is because Gearbox has told us that they're making their story more serious with less corny jokes than last time. We've seen what happened to Borderlands 3 with those, garbage jokes. But they said they're gonna tone down on this in Borderlands 4 and making the story more like Borderlands 2. So with that, knowing that, Borderlands 4 could surpass Borderlands 2 in terms of story. And Borderlands 4 has a main antagonist villain, only one, not two, or an imaginary threat. This guy, the Timekeeper, is a real threat in the game. So the story might, flesh out well and do crazy numbers in terms of people enjoying the story compared to 3 and 2. But yeah, having one main villain to go after the whole story really will make the story better. As well as the villain being, the big bad guy, the big threat in the game. That brings more depth and sense of danger in the game, which will, make the story a lot better. And that will be good for the Borderlands franchise going forward. The next reason is gameplay or / gunplay. Now I know in Borderlands 4 they probably took the same gunplay from Borderlands 3, and in my opinion that's the only thing Borderlands 3 did better than Borderlands 2. But the gunplay will make the game better than Borderlands 2. Everything from the gun designs to how the guns work and the gun effects, as well as returning weapons we've seen from Borderlands 3. We don't know about 2. Maybe there are weapons coming back from 2, but we've had weapons come back and return from all the Borderlands games before, such as in Borderlands 3 we had the Unkempt Herald from Borderlands 2, but returning weapons will make the game better, as well as seeing how they fit in the meta, how good they are, where they lay in a tier list. But yeah, as well as how the guns work will make the game very, very interesting. As we know, a lot of guns in Borderlands 3 were really good with their own unique effects, but coming into Borderlands 4 are different type of guns, since most weapons can roll with different manufacturer parts, like a Torg rolling with Jacob's parts that allows you to ricochet, or a TDO rolling with Vladov parts that make its fire rates crazy. And that links into my next point, which would be weapon parts. The last time we had official varying weapon parts was in Borderlands 2. And people were angry and upset about that, not coming back in Borderlands 3. But as we've seen, Borderlands 4 will have new weapon parts, as well as varying weapon parts. So, getting a perfect weapon is possible now, or getting the best version of, said weapon, even though it's the same weapon, is possible, which brings a fresh, unique aspect to gameplay that was only seen in Borderlands 2. And it allows for better replayability and longer content in terms of farming the weapons and gaining the best you can get and making the best character, min-maxing your stats, your weapons, your abilities, everything. Just knowing that weapon part variation is coming back has me excited for Borderlands 2. Just that alone. There's a lot more things that make the game better and make me excited for the game, but hearing that really got me in the mood to get the game, to play the game, to be excited for a Borderlands game again. And with that, we're on to the next point, which would be the all-new gameplay loop. Now, what I mean by the all-new gameplay loop is the map. I'm talking about the map. The map in Borderlands 4 is not your typical, quite large map area, and you get in and out of certain places just to go to another map area. This map is gonna be one large area, and it's gonna be really big, like humongous, like gigantic, enormous. But the reason why I'm talking about the map is because it brings, a fresh aspect to the game. For the last, I don't know how many Borderlands games we've had, but the map design, everything about the maps has been the same, nothing different, nothing new to expect. Maybe a few new Easter eggs, but overall the map was just the same as always. In Borderlands 4, the map is like one big map, I don't know how to really explain it, but you're gonna have to collect vault keys just to open a vault, and there are multiple vaults on this one map. So replayability is going to be very large, and with different characters, replayability is going to be a very big thing. And another thing that plays into replayability is the story. Now, the story isn't your typical Borderlands one way, you get to the end one way, ends the same all the time type of story. They said it's a non-linear story which have multiple outcomes in the end, or multiple paths to pick to choose. So having to hear that, the story will be different every time you play through it, but I'm sure, there's a finite amount of endings you can get within the game. But just knowing that, there's different paths you can take, different dialogue you can hear, different stories you can hear, it makes the game, replayable, very replayable, and less bland to play through. So yeah, the story will probably be better than Borderlands 2. Actually, it will be better than Borderlands 2, and this game is going to do very well for itself. And the last thing that will make this game, very good and replayable is the DLC content. Now, we know from Borderlands 3 they can do DLCs well, and Borderlands 2 through Borderlands 3, the DLCs have been amazing. Some have been really bland, really boring, but Borderlands 3 does the DLCs very well, and I commend them for that. But we know with the DLCs, they're going to be very different, very involved this time, heavily considering the map design. Having the non-linear map will really help refresh DLCs. We don't know if the DLCs are going to have a normal map as we've all had in previous Borderlands, or they're gonna have the current map in Borderlands 4, which is the big spaces, the one area type stuff. But if it does, it'll make DLCs fresh, new take on how the DLCs work, headhunters and everything. And with coupling with the DLCs are the DLC vault hunters. Now this really made me excited to hear, because this brings a new aspect, a new flow, new feeling to the game when the DLC vault hunters come out. I don't know if you guys are new to the franchise or you've been playing it, but the last time we got new vault hunters, new DLC vault hunters, was Borderlands 2, and people loved the Borderlands 2 DLC vault hunters. And we did ask for new vault hunters or DLC vault hunters to come into Borderlands 3 and Tina's Wonderlands. If you played it, you played it. I did play it. Personally, one of the worst, DLCs. Borderlands games. But we are getting 2 new DLC vault hunters, and we don't know anything about them. We don't know if they could be as strong as the Gunzerker. We don't know if they could be another Siren, or completely a new take on, Borderlands vault hunters. Could be someone like Krieg, a totally unique vault hunter that is, very different, very unorthodox, like Krieg in Borderlands 2. So yeah, if they work properly with the DLC in terms of the vault hunters and the map, and the post-launch content, this game will be very good. And a final thing for me, on a last note, I feel that this Borderlands game will be the best Borderlands game we've ever had, or ever will get. I don't know if this will be the last one, or there will be, more in the future, since Borderlands games have a tendency to come out when they want to. There's no yearly cycle or few year cycle, because I'm sure that Borderlands 2 came out in like 2012. It's been over 10 years. And we only got Borderlands 3 in like, what, I think it was 8 years. And now we're getting Borderlands 4 in like 5 years. So yeah, they release games when they want to. But Borderlands 4 will surpass Borderlands 2 and 3. 3, the only problems they had was the story, and you know, that really made the game dull and boring. Gunplay, everything else, DLCs was good. And I know they'll take from Borderlands 3 and Borderlands 2 the good and the bad. And no, not the bad, only the good. The good stuff from both games, and make it as good as, you know, 3 in terms of gunplay, and as good in story in terms of Borderlands 2. There are other great Borderlands games, just the pre-sequel. But you know, those games, they don't really feel like full out flesh pump games, but they are enjoyable. But yeah, let me know in the comments what you guys think. What are your thoughts? Do you think Borderlands 4 will flop? Will be, you know, have a bad launch, as bad as Borderlands 3, and have to build itself slowly over time, like Borderlands 3? Or do you think Borderlands 4 will be like an instant hit, better than Borderlands 2? My opinion, I think you guys already know my opinion. I know Borderlands 4 will be better than Borderlands 2. Because think about it. Borderlands 2 had, you know, a small niche player base, you know, when it did come out. It was large, but not as large as today, as Borderlands 3 brought in new people, from people who saw or enjoyed Borderlands 2 or the pre-sequel. They brought in new people, and even now Borderlands 4 is bringing in new people with how big, you know, the community has gotten, how big the game has gotten, and how enjoyable, you know, the game is, how replayable it is, and how you can enjoy it with your friends. Like, I know some people who only play this game or get this game so they can play with their friends, you know, 4-player co-op. I think it's 2-player split screen. But yeah, this game is gonna do crazy as soon as it drops. It's even ahead of, I think, Call of Duty in terms of pre-orders on the PlayStation Store, and that's a good thing. Even though this year's Call of Duty is an ass, but Borderlands 4 will do numbers, will do crazy. But yeah, let me know what you guys think in the comments. Leave a comment, like, subscribe. You know, leave your thoughts in the comments, and if you disagree, tell me why. If you agree, you know, you're on the right path, brother. But yeah, thank you for watching this video. Thank you for reaching the end of the video. Enjoy the rest of your day, and if you haven't gotten Borderlands 4 or pre-ordered, or it's your first time playing a Borderlands game, starts with 4. Starts with 4 or 2, and then, you know, later on get into 3 and the pre-sequel, because 2 and 4 will be the best Borderlands games gotten. But yeah, let me know what you think in the comments. Enjoy the rest of your day. Peace.